Jay here for Stretford, Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, I'm outside Old Trafford where it's a bit chilly and it's a bit foggy as well. It's a bit murky, which is kind of what's going on at Manchester United at the minute. Lots of stories this morning centering around Brendan Rodgers and how United are confident that they can get Brendan Rodgers to become the next manager of Manchester United. Now, it's up to you how you feel about Brendan Rodgers, whether you think he's the right man for the job, whether you care about the fact that he managed Liverpool, whether you think he's got what it takes to go up against the likes of Thomas Tuchel, Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp, and whether he can handle a club the size of Manchester United, which would obviously be the biggest club he's ever managed. But it seems like these rumours are gathering pace, and the latest is that United are confident because there's a clause reportedly in his contracts at Leicester that says he can leave if a Champions League club comes in for him. Obviously Manchester United are in the Champions League, so we're a Champions League club, so if that is true, that is the case, and there is a clause in there, he would be able to speak to us and come here if he's happy with the deal we offer him, if he wanted to. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with this one. But Brendan Rodgers seems to have moved into a sort of pole position as a potential manager here at Manchester United Football Club. I think the latest odds were around 4-5 on him becoming the next boss. He was the bookies' favourite. If that matters to you, it might not. And the stories and rumours about other managers potentially coming in have cooled down a little bit. You know, there was a bit of momentum behind the likes of Ralph Rangnick not so long ago. That seems to have calmed down a little bit. That seems to have come more from his side of things rather than Manchester United side of things. Erik ten Hag seems to be a popular choice among the fans, but again, we've not heard anything concrete from reporters that we trust or journalists saying that, you know, there's been any sort of discussions there. Now, a few days ago, we spoke to Laurie Whitwell, and he was telling us that, you know, as far as he was concerned, that United hadn't reached out to anyone, but there's now this sort of update that there could be a clause there in Brendan Rodgers' contract. Now, that doesn't mean that United have said, right, okay, we're going to approach him, or we've spoken to Leicester. It seems to be the fact that because there's this clause there, that would make it easier if we wanted to get Brendan Rodgers, because one of the sticking points has obviously been, would he leave Leicester? Would Leicester let him leave in the middle of the season? Leicester aren't having the greatest of seasons. I think they're around 12th. They've struggled a little bit. I know they did beat us 4-2, but apart from that, they've struggled. But they're not going to want to let the manager go, who has had success there. I think it's 2 top 5 finishes and an FA Cup as well, of course. So he's had success at Leicester. He's a popular figure amongst Leicester fans. Would he be the man to come over to Old Trafford and find success here? I actually spoke to a few lads from a Celtic podcast the other day. They paid us a visit in the studio, and they were saying Brendan Rodgers, they felt, would do well at Manchester United. They said he's got a real style of football that he implements at his clubs that he did at Celtic, and they think he could come here, change things about, and be a positive influence and have success here. Whether he does come here, whether it's even, you know, true that the club are looking at him, we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But as always, we will keep you posted, whether it is Brendan Rodgers taking over from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer or anyone else. At the moment, Ole's over in Norway. The players are having a break or away on international duty, so it just seems it's a bit sort of vague as to what exactly the plan is, if there is one. At the moment, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is set to be in the dugout for the game against Watford. We'll see if that remains the case. Moving on to other things, other stories. Lots of talk about players and whether they're happy or unhappy, and it seems a few of them are ready to move on. There's a story, I think, in the Express talking about the likes of Jesse Lingard, Donny van der Beek, Phil Jones wanting to move on. There's also talk of Dean Henderson wanting to move on. I think there's a story in the Daily Mail about Dean Henderson sort of wanting to get a chance, really. He's not really had much of a chance here at Old Trafford this season, has he? I think he played in the Carabao Cup against West Ham. David De Gea's obviously come back in after he was more or less dropped last season. It seemed that Dean Henderson had become United's number one, although Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at the time was saying, I've got 2 number ones. I thought that was nonsense. Dean Henderson was getting picked for most of the league games, and David De Gea was coming in for the Europa League. After the Europa League final, it looked like David De Gea could be on his way. He's come back in, done a very good job. It's not been perfect, but I think he's had some very good games for Manchester United this season. Dean Henderson now looking at his options, looking at his future. Obviously, the World Cup coming up. He's not featured for England. He's not featured in England squads since the Euros. He's unlikely to feature for England squads if he's not even getting off the bench. Getting off the bench, you don't really tend to bring him off the bench, do you? If he's not even getting a chance at Manchester United. So it seems that he's looking to move on. There's also Paul Pogba. We know that his contract is up in the summer. He's injured. Looks like he might not be back until 2022, by which time he could have spoken to other clubs. So there's that hanging over us as well, whether he'll put pen to paper on a new deal. We had it last night on the live that there was a story, I think it was in L'Equipe, saying that He wanted to become the highest paid player in the Premier League or in the Premier League history. Now, you know, just because that wants to happen doesn't mean it will. You know, I want to play for Manchester United. That's never going to happen. But you can understand why he would want to be the highest paid player. Will United make him that? You never know with this club and what goes on, really, do you? So there's Pogba, there's Lingard, there's the likes of Jones and Donny van der Beek and Henderson. Always slight question marks over their future. Some more than others. Obviously, Lingard and Pogba are out of contract soon. Donny van der Beek's not been here that long. Dean Henderson, despite the fact that he's looking at his future and does want to play more regular football, there's talk of going to Newcastle, but not in January. It does seem he does want to be a Manchester United player. He does want to get into the first team rather than go and find football elsewhere. He's just obviously aware of the fact he isn't going to get into the England team. And at the minute, David De Gea does seem to be always number one. And he's relatively young, David De Gea, and he's not in his 40s. So, you know, he's got a lot of credit in the bank here with Manchester United. It could end up that Dean Henderson's waiting for another 3 or 4 years, missing out on first team football if he hangs around. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. As always, we'll keep you posted, so make sure you are liking, sharing and subscribing to the channel. We'll have loads more videos coming up this week as well. I think Joe's going to be taking a look at Ralph Rangnick, who's this new sort of flavour of the month. A lot of United fans think he could be the man to do the job here at Manchester United. He's highly respected by the likes of Thomas Tuchel and Jurgen Klopp, one of the innovative coaches out there. So we'll have to wait and see if he is an option, because at the moment it looks like Brendan Rodgers is in pole position. Anyway, I've been Jay Motti. This has been The Paper Talk. Thanks for watching.
Make sure to go and check out all of our latest merch at paddockmerch.com. We've got loads of new designs and even more products coming all the time. With 2 or more items, you get 20% off using the code Paddock20. And if you remember, there's even bigger discounts available. Link is in the description.